going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, five-star small forward in Mark Mitchell has decided to commit to the university. Restart this shit. What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, Duke has got another commitment from a five-star small forward in Mark Mitchell. I think he's rated like top 15 overall in next year's class, and once again, it's an incredible feat for the next coach in waiting, John Shire. I mean, this is his fourth five-star player coming in next year, along with a four-star player as well, who could maybe play himself into a five-star, which would be even more crazy. But yeah, just awesome to see. Definitely very excited for the future of Duke basketball, and hopefully these guys are what we need for a missing ingredient for a championship, and hopefully we're, the returning championships for Coach K's final year. That's all I can hope for. Then, yes, Kedon Slovis, the quarterback who's been at USC the past couple years, has decided to enter the transfer portal. As you see from that picture, that's pretty much what his career was like, getting off the field with concussions or injuries after that pretty interesting freshman year when he came in for JT Daniels, who went out with an injury. And then he started the rest of the year and played pretty well numbers-wise. It was just still very inconsistent, in my opinion. And it kind of came forward because even with injuries and when he was supposedly okay, he always just said he never felt right after those injuries. And for some reason, he never played the same again, which is kind of weird. But I guess good luck to him. I'm pretty sure he's going to go somewhere else. I know he's from Arizona, but I know one quarterback is coming back for ASU. He might go to the University of Arizona. Never know. But yeah, whatever. And then Andrew Voorhees, an offensive lineman for USC, is deciding to return back for his final senior year. I know he was getting some some good news from the NFL, but looks like he's going to return to maybe even bump up where he's going to get drafted next year as well, because I know he's been known as a very versatile type of offensive lineman who could play inside or outside as well if you need him. So definitely glad he's at least coming back for one more year to try to do something big in Lincoln Riley's first year. And then mentioning him as well with Drake London and Andrew Voorhees, they were both Associated Press All-American honors, so they weren't named some of the top 25 to 50 best players, but they were mentioned if they were like the next guys up, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty sure Drake London would have been that if he played the rest of the year, but can't go back with that injury. But yes, good for them to get those type of honors as well. Then yes, according to some reports over the weekend, it was said that Lincoln Riley is wanting to keep the interim head coach Dante Williams on his staff. I don't know exactly what position he's going to be coaching, because there was a fill up at his cornerback spot. He might be going to the safeties maybe, because that spot was just open up as well. It's just a lot better to keep him around for recruiting wise, and maybe he wasn't getting as many good enough head coaching offers. It's probably better just to stay at USC for another year or two, which I'm glad for, so USC can get some of these more high talented guys out here, because he is one of the top recruiters out here, which is really good. Then speaking of a top recruiter, Lincoln Riley also hired the Georgia Tech running backs coach in Tashard Choice, who apparently not only was an ex-NFL player in the past decade, but he is also considered one of the better recruiters out there in the South. And if you know Georgia Tech, they pretty much run the option mostly, and their running backs have to be very talented. And I'm pretty sure he works with the offensive line as well to know how to do certain blocks at that type of offense. So yes, definitely looking like a really good type of head coaching staff he's putting forward, especially because a lot of these guys are great recruiters as well. So I'm definitely very happy for Lincoln Riley's future at USC. But he did miss out on an offensive line coach that was supposedly coming from Oklahoma with him, and Bill Bedenbaugh, but apparently he's staying at Oklahoma, which sucks because he has been getting guys drafted, and knowing what he can do on the West Coast probably would have made USC look even greater, but it just sucks. But we'll see where else he can poach one of the next top offensive line coaches out there. hopefully, that's all we can hope for, as I like to mention. Then the Anaheim Ducks player Adam Henrique was recently put on injured reserve. Don't know exactly the type of injury or how long injured reserve is for the NHL, but I know they are playing very well. They're, at least the last time I checked, 5 games over 500, which is amazing for the Ducks. So hopefully they can continue and he can get healthy quickly. And then, yes, very hard to read. DeAndre Jordan of the Lakers recently got 10,000 career rebounds in one of the recent games, which is pretty cool for him. A nice stat to get while he's a member of the LA Lakers, who have such a great history of top big men in the whole NBA history. So it's cool that he got that while he was on our roster. But yeah, you gotta play better, buddy. And then Frank Jackson, an ex-Duke player, has been in the league for a couple years, bounced around on a couple teams, but he's maybe have found a nice home right there in Detroit, because he's been playing pretty well at a couple over 20 point games, and now last night he had a 25-point game, which is really cool to see. And I know that's a young backcourt. They just selected the number 1 overall pick, Kate Cunningham, as well, so maybe they could both be teammates in the backcourt for the foreseeable future. You never know, so good luck to him. Obviously an ex-Duke player. Then USC basketball, yes, they played last night and they beat Long Beach State. Or no, it was actually Sunday they played. Or yeah, yesterday was Sunday. I don't know. My sleeping schedule's messed up. But yes, they did play Long Beach State. They ended up getting a victory 73-62. At one point early in the game, USC was down, but they were able to come back and get that victory pretty handily. They are 10-0 to start the season, which is great. Hasn't been done in a while. And they also recently, today, were named a top 10 team in the AP poll, which to me is the only important poll you need to look at when it comes to ranking these college basketball teams. And they're finally in the top 10, which is really cool. So it's been a while since they've been up there. I think that right now there's 3 Pac-12 schools in the top 10 with UCLA and Arizona. So hopefully, USC gets their stuff together, because I know Boogie Ellis is kind of struggling right now when the games are getting tougher, which is not good because they're only going to get tougher from here on out. So hopefully he can turn it around as well. Then Westbrook kind of made a weird mention. I forget how many days ago it was, but apparently the main line in the article was, if the Lakers don't end up winning a championship this year, he doesn't mind or it doesn't bother him, which is definitely the type of mentality if it was something he really truly said, or maybe they took it out of context. But if he's messing with those type of words, I definitely don't want him on my team. As far as the Lakers team, I know it was a trade I wasn't very happy about, and every time I see him make a stupid decision, a shot, and it's just ridiculous sometimes to watch him. I know we're gonna get into a lot of players the Lakers are interested in, but a lot of those guys, you might have to trade one of your top 3 players in LeBron, AD, or Westbrook, and I'm pretty sure Westbrook's gonna be a part of those deals if they really want to go after guys that they want. But yeah, he's been very, very not good on my Santa list. And then, yes, the Chargers had a nice victory yesterday against the lowly New York Giants at home. I believe it was like 37-21 final score, but at one point the Chargers were winning like 37-7. They gave up those 2 scores in garbage time, which sucks for your defensive numbers, but yes, they still look good overall, even on offense, scoring some points, but they could be a lot better. I know they did lose Austin Eckler for a little bit, the rest of the game with the ankle injury. It only sucks because they do play this Thursday against Kansas City, but luckily it is at home, so he can use these doctors out here to get better quicker, hopefully. But also hoping that Keenan Allen comes. He did miss this game, and hopefully Brandon Staley said he expects him to be ready for the game on Thursday. That's all we could hope for, is to be as close to 100%. And I know Derwin James, one of their top defensive players, missed the Giants game as well, so hopefully he is healthy enough to come back against the team that they're only one game behind right now for not only playoff seeding but their division as well. So I'm pretty sure if they were to beat Kansas City, they would switch from being in the wild card to being one of the top 4 teams in the AFC. So this is a pretty big matchup, and hopefully the Chargers do get the victory. And then Justin Herbert made some history as well. He's the first player in his first 2 seasons to throw for 30 plus touchdowns. It's pretty good stat to have. I wish there were a lot more victories with those touchdowns, but yeah, to be the first player to do that, it's pretty nice for him. Hopefully it means a nice bright future for the Chargers. You never know, but at least he's doing something right now. And then yes, as I mentioned, the Lakers have been in trade talks, or just in pretty much a lot of rumors right now, but they've been rumored to a lot of big name guys. As of right now, Ben Simmons, one of the top players from Philadelphia who hasn't been playing this year because he wants to get traded, they're linked to him. I know that trade could only happen if they include one of the big 3, which would be Westbrook, but to get a guy who also can't shoot consistently, just to have an athletic 6'10" guy playing with LeBron, it might be interesting for a couple games, but when it comes to playoffs, I don't know if you can play them unless you take him and switch him and AD out at the 5 at times, and Ben Simmons is now your center. I don't know. It could maybe work out like that, but they would have to give up quite a bit and maybe involve another team as well. Another player that I think is a lot easier to trade for, and a guy I like a lot more, is Jeremy Grant from the Pistons. It sucks right now that he is out for I think 6 weeks because of a thumb injury, but you know, you're making the trade basically to have him for the playoffs, and he is the type of like small forward wing player that they need, 6'8" to 6'9", athletic, can still shoot the 3, dunks, plays defense as well. So I think he's under $20 million, so that they could maybe add just like Taylor Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, a guy like that, because those are the 2 guys other than the big 3 that have higher contracts, and then you either can add another player or you're most likely going to have to add a draft pick as well in the future. So you never know, but yeah, definitely hope they get that guy. And I know earlier, before these guys were mentioned, they were looking at Indiana Pacers center Miles Turner. He was a name that came up a lot before. Kind of surprised just because rolling with 2 centers. I know the whole talk before the year was that AD doesn't mind him. It doesn't bother him that he has to play the 5. He's willing to do it, and yet he's been out the past couple games and is listed as day-to-day with an injury. So maybe you have to get a better starting 5 to be able to help when he's out, or help him while he's in the game as well. So he's playing against a smaller, less stronger player, but I don't know. I don't know if that would be a big enough trade for the Lakers to do. I like Jeremy Grant better, but we'll see. And then Lakers games, yes, I believe it was Friday. They played Oklahoma City on the road, and they got that victory. It was 116-95, keeping them under 100. At this game, they were up pretty high. I think they almost reached 40 points in that game. The first time they were able to beat this team pretty handily. I know usually they let this team get back in, which they kind of did a little bit, but still kept them under 100 points. LeBron James went off as well. He had like 33. And as I mentioned before, no Anthony Davis, but they still got the victory, which is nice. And then going on to their next game, which was yesterday, they beat the Orlando Magic at home in LA. I believe that score was 106-94. So a little bit closer of a game. Once again, under 100 points, but I think the Lakers had a nice lead, and then the Magic tried to come back with a last second stretch of scoring, but it didn't work out for them. Yes, once again, no Anthony Davis, as I mentioned before during the stretch, but LeBron James had a triple-double once again. It was his second in the week. He had like 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. That's pretty good especially doing it against a crappy team. Is what he should be able to do. But I know these 30-point outbursts are helping the Lakers win as of right now. But I don't know. I hope it doesn't cause him to have an injury either. But, that's just the way the season and the past couple years have been going for LeBron, which sucks. But yes, as I mentioned, Anthony Davis is day to day. So hopefully he will be ready for the next game coming up soon. Never know, but yes, that's all we could hope for. And a pretty interesting story about Lincoln Riley's agent. Apparently, everyone says there's rumors that he might be getting the general manager job of the Chicago Bears, which kind of maybe linked. Everyone at first thought that he was just gonna try to get Riley to be the coach of the Bears, which didn't make sense if he just got him the job at USC, and it would just be another Cliff Kingsbury all over again for USC fans, which would suck. But I think he was more inked, that agent was inked more to another coach that he has worked with before, and Ryan Day, who is the coach at Ohio State. And obviously the connection with Chicago Bears and Ohio State is that their main quarterback, their rookie this year, Justin Fields, is from Ohio State. So they kind of pictured they got that agent got the head coach from Ohio State to be able to coach the quarterback from Ohio State. It should be a match made in heaven. Luckily, the idea of Lincoln Riley to the Chicago Bears as a head coach died off pretty quickly, and it was more of Ryan Day, the Ohio State coach. But yes, other than that, I believe the agent recently said that, with all due respect, he hasn't had any conversations or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure there has been. So that's how sneaky agents are. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on.